All right, let's bring in Rick Green, America's Constitution coach, Victory News contributor. Rick, coming to us, it looks like from Idaho. Welcome.
Hey, it's good to be with you. Yeah, very excited to be at the state capitol in Idaho this week with a lot of young people learning biblical worldview of government and how they can be better citizens.
All right, let's start with Arizona, if you'd like.
Yeah.
Arizona, the recount is done. I know there's been about a dozen states that have gone to observe this. They're thinking about doing their own. Do you think they're waiting to see if anything comes from it before they start their own?
Probably, yeah. I think a lot of them. Plus, they've got a process to go through of their own. I do think some of these other states will do an audit. The good news is, even if no other state does an audit, just Arizona doing the audit themselves sends the signal for future elections that, hey, we're watching and we're going to do these audits. If we think anything nefarious happened, that is a good signal to send to everyone. I don't care, right, left, center, where a person might be politically. They all need to know that we care about the accuracy of our elections. So thank you to Arizona for doing this, regardless of what those results turn out to be. I'm hearing they're going to be pretty shocking, and, we'll find out when they decide to announce them. Now, whether or not it would actually change anything for the past election is unlikely, but the most important thing is that it gives us that strong sense of security for future elections that we will be watching, and we want to make sure that whatever did happen, if it was nefarious, that we prevent it from happening in the future.
And that's been the reason for all of these laws in different states, is to prevent anything in the future. All right, let's talk about COVID very quickly. We're seeing some numbers that some people are coming down with COVID after they've been vaccinated, some dying after they've received the vaccine. 616, last count I have, reports of myocarditis in young men after they've received the vaccine under the age of 30. Why does it seem like there's a suppression on releasing the numbers on the side effects of this?
Yeah, it seems to be suppression both on not showing the negative side effects. You're always going to have some negative cases from any vaccine or any medical intervention, frankly. These numbers do seem to be high, but it's also a suppression of the good news of the natural immunity. There are millions of Americans with natural immunity because they've had COVID that are not contracting COVID again, and yet you have these 4,000 cases we already know of hospitalizations for COVID after they had the vaccine. I think we should need to be talking about that contrast and telling people, hey, if you've had COVID, you don't need to get the vaccine. I got to say, on a side note, this whole thing of pulling a college baseball team from the College World Series because 4 of those players tested positive for COVID, which all had the vaccine, by the way, is just insanity. We've now robbed those kids of that opportunity for that national championship, or at least for a chance for that national championship when they're all healthy. It was no more dangerous for them to play baseball with COVID than it would be to play baseball with a bad cold. And unfortunately, we continue to be driven by fear instead of just common sense. And Greg, if I could real quick comment on the Louisiana governor vetoing that bill. If he was a Second Amendment champion, he would not have vetoed that bill. A Second Amendment champion understands that this is a natural right of self-defense. You should not have to ask the government for permission. I could give you quotes from John Adams, Patrick Henry, George Washington, James Wilson, founder after founder, that talk about this is a natural right. You do not give up to government or give up to society. So I think this governor made a real mistake there. We all want people to get trained when they carry. You guys know I'm a champion of that, but it's a constitutional right to be able to carry. You shouldn't need the government's permission for that.
Rick, the state of Florida is sending help to the Texas border. The president, former president, and the governor and several legislators are going to be touring it on Wednesday. That's a whole lot of action for a border that the White House says there's no problems.
Yeah, and of course we never could get Kamala Harris to go to the areas that really needed to be visited. Visiting El Paso and the center there. And saying that you've been down to the border crisis, that's about like me saying that I had a good workout because I drove through a town that actually had a gym. I mean, it's just kind of silly. But you're right. DeSantis is sending folks. Others are going down. I'm thrilled that you're going to be going down once again. This coverage has got to continue. People need to know. My mind was kind of boggled as Mike was listing those numbers at the top of the hour, the top of the show. It is mind-boggling how many thousands of people are coming across that border. Almost 200,000 a month, folks. And this is illegal immigration, not legal immigration. These numbers are staggering. We need to keep bringing attention to this. and I'm sorry for bouncing around, but it just hit me. The thought just hit me. You guys speak so well on this program. Mike, Tim, Greg, everybody on this program. I teach people how to do public speaking. That doesn't mean that you have to go through my public speaking class to exercise your constitutional right of free speech. It's the same with your right to keep and bear arms. You shouldn't have to have government training to be able to do that. Sorry, the analogy just came to me as I was watching how well you guys speak.
Thank you so much, Rick. I want to clarify one thing. If you've taken the vaccine, we're not against that. We're not shaming you for taking the vaccine. If you haven't taken the vaccine, we're not shaming you on that. You follow your own conscience. That's individual liberty. That's what we're all about. But I do like your workout plan. Just drive past the. Thanks, Rick. I'll bring you. Just drive through. I'll bring you back. I'll bring you back here in just a moment. Mike, back to you.